Okay, my name is Sam Agner, and I served in Vietnam in 1968, 69, and 70. First tour was with the 101st Airborne Division. The second trip was with Charlie Company Rangers, 75th Infantry. And I got out of the Army as a E5 Buck Sergeant. I joined the Army in the fall, right after I got out of high school, in October, matter of fact, October 5th. And I went to Fort Benning for basic training. It's a long, long time. If I could, I would run away. They wouldn't let you though. I'd have come home the second week if they'd have let me, because I missed home that much. I'd never been away from home, but it was a good deal. And I left Fort Benning, Georgia, and they sent me all the way out to Fort Ord, California. Some of the prettiest country I've ever seen in my life. Beautiful country out here. But anyway, I stayed out there for about 2.5 months and come back to Fort Benning to jump school. And then after jump school, spent a little time in Bragg, and then went to Vietnam the first time. Well, that was a little deal a while ago. We got overrun, not overrun, but we jumped over some more people outside of a place called Karen Cate, and they were shooting back with a 51 caliber machine gun. So it wasn't 2 or 3 people, it was probably a battalion or so, and it wasn't but 6 of us. And it was getting nighttime, and I didn't figure we'd make it through the night, but we did. But it is what it is. But you always, for me personally, I wasn't going to be a POW. I wasn't going to do that. Yeah, I had plans for that, but I wasn't going to be no POW. But yeah, I faced death several more times in my life at an earlier age, so it wasn't nothing new. But I wasn't worried about me as much as I was worried about my team. That's what worried me, was my team. It's a terrible thing to have to write a parent that you lost their son got shot and got killed. That's a bad deal right there. I've had to do it once. You just react. You're trained, and you train well, and you do well. You just react. And now, in the middle of a storm, it's just like it is right here. Here's when when it's all over, and you get on that chopper and you're going back. That's when it hits you. Serving your country is something I think everybody should do. You ain't got to. I don't agree with the draft. The draft is not a good thing, because when you got a draft, you got people that don't want to be there, and I don't want to work with people that don't want to be there. So that's what's good about the military today. Everybody's there to volunteer, and they're doing what they want to do, and that's a good thing. Got hit in Cambodia. I didn't get shot. I got hit with some shrapnel from an RPG. We didn't lose anybody though. What was fun about it? You see, I can find funny things about stuff like that. We pulled a mission in Cambodia, and I had a brand new kid on the team, never been out before. I remember looking over at him. We got in the middle of a firefight. I remember looking over at him. He had melted the barrel on his M16. The round was just going out and going bloop. He was scared to death. He was scared. But I'll never forget that. That was funny to me. But I think of the good memories. I don't think of the bad memories. I don't think about people getting. I don't think about the bad things. I think about the good things. I think about the friends that I got. And you have bad days. There's some bad days, but I let them go on. I'll keep on good things. So, you know what? I got saved when I was 12 years old. I'm one of those people. I believe you once saved, you always saved. And I got away from it, especially when I was in the Army. But I knew that if I died where I was going, so that was one thing that helped me along. So, but you know, I regret that too. I regret not telling more people about that back then. When it get a little time for me to go home, I'll go. Yeah, Charlie Rangers is, like I said, it was kind of unique how I got into it. I went on my second trip to Vietnam. Now, the first trip, I don't want nobody to misunderstand what I'm saying. I went with the 101st Airborne Division in 1968. I served there in June, July, and August, and September. Then I got notice from home that I had my only brother left that got killed. So I came home and didn't go back until October. When I went back in October, I went with Charlie Company Rangers. I originally was going with the 173rd Airborne Brigade, but they had asked for some volunteers to go to Rangers, so I went with the Rangers, and I went to Ranger School and I served with the Rangers for that year. And so Rangers were unique. I was an E5 Buck Sergeant by that time, and so I went to the Ranger School we had there, and one thing and another. Then I went on several missions out of a place called Fan Tiet, Then I was made a team leader, so that's where we really started. I had some great guys on the team. Don Erickson, each one wrote the book, Charter Rangers. Some more guys, are Donald Rath, and great people. And it was just an experience. We worked in 5 and 6 man teams, and we had intel that we'd slip in and we'd slip out. And our best weapon was not letting them know we was there. So we would ambush people on trails more than anything else, and work in and out there. Sometimes we do some other stuff, but it was a unique experience. Greatest people in the world I ever worked with. I see some of them today. A lot of them's gone, but I see a lot of them today. We go to reunions and things. But it was a life experience for sure. And if I had a chance to do it again, would I? Yes, I would. What people don't understand back in those days, soldiers don't make policy; they follow orders. And that's what we did. It was a terrible time for being in the military back when I was in the military. You come back home from Vietnam and you wear a Class A uniform or whatever, or uniform museum, if they knew you was coming back, they'd come and try to spit on you and call you baby killers and all that. So it was a trying time. So you just kind of come home and get you a job and melt back in the community if you got out of the military. I had a year left when I got back from Vietnam the second time. Went to Fort Bragg and stayed there for a year, and then come home and just went to work. But it was an experience that I will never forget. It's one that I won't never regret doing. Like I said, I'll do it again. Well, I want to talk about a particular thing, a particular mission. I'll talk about one of the missions that went on that wasn't very good. We got it infielded about 10 o'clock in the morning one morning. We was in a triple canopy jungle. And what we did, we had packed trails. They'd walk on the trails, and one thing you never did is walk on a trail. So we'll walk on a trail, and you can find traffic on a trail, so you'd set up an ambush on that trail. We set up an ambush the next morning on this trail, and it had a little bend in it, but that was the best place we could set up to have some cover. Had a guy on the left, one on the right, and one behind me, and me and another guy was in the middle. About 10:30 that morning, we heard them coming, and they came down the trail. And I had a young kid on my team. His name was William Murphy, Bill Murphy, great kid. He's from Newcastle, Delaware, never forget it. And we had what I call a clackers on a Claymore mine. We had about 16 Claymore mines out in the kill zone. And when they got in the kill zone, we initiated, and there wasn't nothing left. I mean, we initiated the contract, there wasn't nothing left. So it was a good, clean ambush. And the only problem was we didn't know, because it wasn't 6 of us, we'd have to go check the bodies to get documents and information and intelligence to carry back to try to find out what was going on with the VC or the NBA. So we'd go pick the pockets and see what they had, where they come from, that kind of thing. So we started out in the fire zone and where the ambush was, and me and Bill Murphy went out there. And I'll never forget, I was crawling like we was trained to do, and I looked up and he was standing up and having a big time, smiling and grinning. And this, because we had a good kill. And they had first round hit him dead in the chest, and that was bad business. And we got initiated on what we had done when we come around the trail. We had hit what we call a point element, but behind that point element was a whole platoon of NBA. So we had our hands worked out for us that day, and I'll never forget that day. That was just a soldier's mistake you shouldn't make. Things like that happen, and he was a good guy. And I remember writing his mom and daddy and talked to him. When I got home, they come and saw me. So that was probably the worst day for me in Vietnam. But the only guy I ever lost. But we killed 26 that day, confirmed kills. We lost 1, so it was still a bad day. How'd we get away? Well, it was a bad day. Without describing everything that went on, we got radio communication, and we called in a reactionary force is what we did. When we got overwhelmed like that, we called in for help. So we called in for reactionary force. And the sad part about it, took them a long time to get there. And the number one thing they did is they let an Oriental United States soldier walk point coming to us. He coming to die by getting killed. That was a bad mistake on their part. They shouldn't have done that. But they did. 101st come in there and kind of support us, and we got out. We got our guy out, and it just went back, and that was the end of that. But then next week you do another one. So But overall, with my Ranger buddies, to this day, a good friend of mine died last year, Gary Popple. We serve. It's a small world.